Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is KarQ. Welcome to the KarQives, the KarQ Archives channel, my second channel where we go a lot more candid and break things down a little more casually. Today, we have easy to hard heroes in Overwatch for beginners. This is basically a tier list for your beginner friends. You send it to them, where if they pick any hero that's in the red or the orange category, very easy or easy, they can at least get some value back without knowing how to play the hero. Like, these heroes are easy to get baseline value. This is skill floor. I'm not talking about skill ceiling because that would be a completely different tier list. For example, I can just tell you right now, Lucio is actually in the easy category for just simply having your noob friend pick it and they instantly get value. It's easy because they have an aura. You could just press heal aura and there's something happening and helping your team. That's the basis of what we're going on. Let's begin in alphabetical order. We have D.Va. I'm going to put her in medium. Now, some people may argue she's easy because she's a shotgun hero and she has defense matrix, which can get instant value, don't get me wrong, but defense matrix only lasts 3 seconds, and you can have other heroes like Reinhardt that could get more value by standing there with a shield up versus matrix that's only 3 seconds. The movement for her, cycling micro missiles, and being able to get into effective range seems to be the downside, or the hardest part for a lot of divas. I've seen a lot of newer diva players, they kind of just stand there looking a little confused, just holding down the primary fire. When you're not playing in your effective range as D.Va, your shotguns, you literally do air. And a lot of divas just end up feeding. And that's why I think D.Va is more of a medium tier character and kind of in the middle. Maybe someone who has a little bit more FPS background, you can recommend this hero to your friends. But other than that, keeping her in medium. Doomfist, very hard. Do not recommend this hero for new players. You need to know like game sense. You need to know what counters you, what CC they have. You gotta learn, you gotta have good high APM, learning how to punch, slam, cancel, power block to cycle the next thing, punch. He is actually very mechanically intensive, and for new players, don't recommend this hero. Junkrat Queen, I was debating on putting it on easy, but I actually think she's a little bit harder to get value from. The easy part of her is pressing commanding shout, which isn't as powerful as it used to be, but it's a free button to get you a little tankier. The hardest part about her is, again, getting in range and landing those Gracie knives. Landing that correct knife is a big skill shot and a big core of her gameplay, which a little bit more difficult because it's not a straight line. There's a little bit of an arc to it, right? Gonna keep her in medium. Now Orisa has a lot of abilities, but I'm actually gonna put her in easy because there's actually no movement penalty for firing your gun anymore, right? So if your friend's playing tank and you know they're new, you could just press the primary fire button down and then press this another button, fortify, to get extra tanky. Things are on cooldown, you press the other one, spin your thing around and you just hold it in front of you and you will instantly get value for your team. The ultimate's not very hard either. Walk into a clump of enemies, hold the button down, pull them in, let go. I think Orisa's a lot easier to play than these 3 tanks we mentioned so far. So yeah, I'm gonna put her in easy. Reinhardt, same thing. I think I'm gonna put Rein in easy to get value in a sense. Like, you hold your shield, although I will argue that like if that's all he does is stand there and put a shield up, he's really not doing much for the team. Just tell your friends to hold shield up and press W and then maybe put it down at once in a while and swing a bit. I don't really talk about fire strike and charging, but as long as they're doing that, I'm gonna put it at easy because there's not much more to it than hold shield and swing. Roadhog, also easy, arguably very easy. He's like really forgiving, simply because if you have a group of noob friends and no one's healing, you're gonna run into trouble. But Roadhog has the self-heal, very self-sustainable, and he's very like simple. Not as much trouble getting in and closing the gap, and all you do is just, you know, if you have 2 hands and you can sort of aim, you can land a hook once in a while. If you land a hook, it's not very hard to follow up with a shot and then heal yourself. Now, I actually had a discussion with Sigma, and I actually originally had him on hard because I keep mixing up his skill ceiling, but then somebody else told me that like on the skill floor basis, even though he has a lot of abilities to manage, is actually not that hard to get medium value out of. Press one button, put the shield up and just leave it, and the other button, you have no ammo, don't have to reload, no reload management. You just keep spamming your spheres with the shield up. Once in a while, press the suck button. The skill shot and the rock, learning the arc on that's a little difficult. Same with landing the flux, but extracting medium value from this hero, not too bad. Winston, same thing. I'm gonna put him on medium. Some people, I think the Tesla cannon is primary fire. Everybody assumes he's an easy character simply because you don't have to aim his primary weapon, but the other parts of his kit make him a lot harder to get full value from. Getting in there to get Tesla cannon value, primary fire value. Yes, it's easy to press the button and get your bubble, and it's easy to hold your button down in primary fire, but everything else is hard. Primal Rage is one of the hardest ults in the game. Learning how to leap properly to get in range to do it is way harder than like, let's say like Orisa and Rein. They press a button on their ultimate, she pulls people in, this guy just puts the hammer down, done. This guy, if you don't know how to leap or primal, that just says enough. I'm gonna put him on medium for those reasons. Zarya, a zero charge Zarya is kind of like does air as well. Doesn't do much damage. So that makes her inherently not easy. Although that being said, she's not difficult to get baseline value because she can simply bubble a teammate. Maybe she won't know how to bubble herself, but maybe somebody in the group be like, hey, bubble me. You can at least point, click, and then hopefully hold your laser and shoot some stuff. Grab is an easy ult to kind of shoot. And that, you know, with all those factors considered, she kind of just falls down the middle, right? You can't say she's too hard because of the simplicity of bubbles, but she's not that easy to build consistent energy for new players. Ball, instantly onto very hard. Half of Ball's playstyle is you have to have map knowledge. You gotta learn where the health packs are. You gotta know the elevation, how to, like, he's got a lot of abilities. You gotta know how to pile drive, how to activate pile drive. It's not even an intuitive ability, learning like elevation, what height to get the pile drive, learning to grapple. You have to know the map to learn how to like get effective fireballs, boop them up, when to engage, when to disengage. This hero is genuinely a really hard tank to play, so don't recommend this for beginners. Ashe, not as simple as Soldier, who we'll get to later. It might feel a bit awkward with the scope shot. That's how I felt when I first played Ashe. She's traditional FPS, but kind of not really. You point and shoot. Landing a dynamite might be a bit awkward for some people. And that being said, putting her in medium. Bastion, I think the old Bastion where you actually just stand in one spot and just fire away was easy, but I think new Bastion's a little bit more difficult because you don't have the self-heal button and you're not a stationary. You actually have to move a little bit, a lot more actually. Landing the secondary fire is a little difficult. Learning when to actually engage using your turret form is pretty core to his gameplay. But that being said, if we're talking about extracting value, something like Ashe requires a lot of precision to get value on the secondary fire. Bastion, kind of tracking, you just aim roughly there and hold your bullets down, ignore the spread or whatever. You just kind of just spray in the area, throw shit there, and you'll get value. So maybe between medium and easy. You know what? I'll put him on easy. Cassidy, again, any sort of hit scan heroes for new players are inherently dependent on the player whether they hit the shots or not. Magnetic Grenade's a super easy ability up close to get instant value on. Landing your shots consistently might be a little bit more difficult for the average player, so putting them right down the middle for average players, average new players. Echo, very hard hero. Echo inherently requires you to know every single hero in the game and what they all do. Because you can, in theory, duplicate any hero, you should know how to play every hero. And then Echo is like a whole new dimension of movement. She's not flat ground. You have to fly and learn aerial movement, learn your airspace, how to play your distance correctly, the tri-shot spread out over time, landing those sticky bombs and knowing your beam range to get down to execute without feeding, learning who to duplicate. She's a very hard hero in this category for a reason. Genji, also like a movement demon. Feels like everybody who comes from other FPSs or even new players, like this whole new axis, not just flat ground, left, right, like Valorant minus Jet and, you know, Raze who can actually go into the air, but like any sort of movement over people's heads confuses the shit out of them. And Genji is one of them, right? They dance around to be effective. Dash, learning how to get resets, understanding when you have a reset, picking target prioritization. Shurikens are kind of slow projectiles, or a little awkward to land for new players. I think he's a pretty hard hero for new players, so I'm going to put him here. Hanzo as well. He's one of the harder projectile heroes to play because of the timing. Storm Arrow is the easiest part of his kit, especially with Overwatch 2 being new. I watched one of my friends like try this hero out for the first time and they just looked awkward. They just didn't know how to lead the shot. They kind of just stand there holding the charge. Like they move really slow while they hold the charge, so they're just waiting. They're not sure where they're going to come out of, which angle to take. I don't really recommend Hanzo for new players. Junkrat. I'm actually gonna put Junkrat into easy. Now, again, he's also a projectile, like similar to Hanzo. He's a projectile hero, but not similar at all because his arcing grenades are super slow. You kind of just chuck them into an area, put your trap down. Don't even worry about your mines. You need someone in your DPSs to get value, new player, beginner. Junkrat's easy. You just tell them to shoot the general area and then pray one of them lands. And if it lands, it'll do like 60 to like 120 damage if it's direct or whatever, right? And Riptire is not too difficult to kind of maneuver, so he's there for a reason. Mei, same thing. You don't have to like worry about freezing them and lining up a headshot with icicles. As long as you can sort of get in, you have a get out of jail free card by simply pressing ice block. The wall might be a little difficult, but the primary fire is so strong now, 100 DPS, 55 in Overwatch 1, 100 DPS in Overwatch 2. If you can somehow get in range and you just hold the slowdown and walk up, you will get good value for your team. Ice block yourself, just throw up a random wall. Easy hero. Pharah, I was gonna argue she's kind of hard because again, I think flying heroes in this game are hard for new players. Definitely a little bit easier than Echo. If you're not a noob to FPSs, she's medium. You gotta learn how to like lead your slow projectiles, learn the movement in the air, having good fuel management. Actually, you know what? I think most people are going to end up being ground Pharahs if they just pick her out of the blue, and they might as well just play Junkrat, who's just ground Pharah. This is air Junkrat. Playing in the air and trying to lead your projectiles based on the distance from you in the air to the target. And if you're like a little lower, you don't have to lead it as much. I think there's just simply easier DPS heroes to play for new players. So I'm going to leave her here. Sojourn, I was gonna put her hard. The slide is probably the hardest part for her for new players, learning how to like use that movement effectively. Other than that, you can kind of just spray the primary fire, like 45 bullets on the SMG. It's like easy. You can just kind of just spam it, and then once you have enough charge, just once in a while fire the other click, and then maybe you get lucky and get a headshot. It's kind of like baby soldier in a way, right? You just hold it in the general direction. Brrr, once in a while railgun. Brrr, once in a while railgun. Throw the disruptor shot in the general area. Not the hardest to get some baseline value, so she's right in the middle of the pack at medium. Reaper, super easy, very simple kit, shotguns, very cool, comes from the side. Favorite hero, Reaper guy. Wraith away when you're in trouble. Easy, enough said. Soldier, the easiest hit scan out of all of them in my opinion. Very traditional FPS, you kind of just track, keep your crosshairs generally in their general direction, you'll get some value. Throw a heal pack down, you're good. Your ultimate is like noob friendly ultimate, tactical visor. A little bit more skill now because it does take headshots. Although it's an aimbot with his ultimate, if you keep your crosshair over their head, it does count as a critical hit. Some people forgot that change that happened in Overwatch 2, but other than that, easy hero. Sombra, one of the hardest DPS heroes to play. Map knowledge, knowing health packs, hack prioritization, being able to clip, like have good tracking. Hopefully one clip the squishy hero that you hacked and assassinate them, timing your EMP, translocating out. Not much more to say than that. You just know she's a hard hero. Symmetra, I think she's a medium hero. Not too difficult to throw up your sentries and hold down your, your beam. Semi-decent tracking is sort of required to get a ramp-up beam because the baseline beam is nowhere near as effective and as easy as Maze, for example. Trying to chuck your secondary fires, knowing the choke points, knowing how to teleport in and out of danger, not necessarily just using it in like your spawn. She was easier in Overwatch 1 because you could just leave a teleporter from your spawn room outside permanently, but now a teleporter has a cooldown, right? It's not permanent anymore, which means you have to use it a bit more proactively, assassination style, and knowing how to manage your risk to all in aggress with turrets and all in commit, secondary fire, go in, pop out, aligning up your wall ultimate. She's kind of a medium based hero now, I will say. All right, Torbjorn, easy hero. This guy plays himself. Come on, his turret is just a free player. Torb is just the ultimate noob killer because no beginners kill the turret and they just let the turret walk all over them. You have a shotgun up close and you press a simple button, you get all this extra over health. Not much more to be said. Torbjorn's a very easy hero. All right, Tracer, one of the hardest DPSs as well. Learning how to manage your blinks and movement. She's a hero that requires you to play in effective range, close enough to the enemies, especially now that she got her damage nerfed in Overwatch 2 by 1. 16% DPS nerf. So one clipping and knowing your spacing is even more important. You need to know where health packs are, so that requires map knowledge, knowing your matchups, who you can get close to, who you can't get close to. You'll always see beginners try Tracer and they get sneezed on and they die because 150 HP is not very forgiving at all for new players. Widowmaker, not easy for noob aimers, not hard to play. She's very simple. She's a point and click hero, so this will always depend on the player and how much FPS experience they have. So she's right down the middle in medium. Ana as well. I mean, you can argue she's actually a pretty hard hero as well. She's a point and click. If you have a friend and needs to extract baseline value, point and click at them, you will get some value, get some healing, throw a nade. Sleep darts will be hard to land, but at least nano boost is easy. That makes up for it. So medium. Baptiste, I actually originally had him at hard, but I actually think he fits a little bit better in medium because I was like, oh, Bap is like a hard hero to do the shoot, heal. But new players don't need to do that to get value. They just need to shoot the ground. That's it. They don't even have to go for directs. Although directs heal a little bit more. They heal 70 HP instead of 50 for the splash healing. That's a skill ceiling kind of angle we'd be looking at. Again, this is skill floor. As long as you shoot the floor in the general area, you will get value because your team will be healed. And the immortality field is just point, click, throw it on the ground. I'm immortal. That's instant value. So right in the middle of the pack at medium. Brig, arguably a bit medium to learn how to manage your shield and stay alive. But I think with the fact that you can just point and click someone to heal pack them, if you just land a single swing on somebody, your aura just does the healing for you and you just throw packs, you can inherently get baseline value, I would say. So that's why I put her on easy. She might actually roll over and die pretty easily. Or maybe she's unkillable. I don't know. I haven't seen too many Brigs. I haven't seen too many beginners play Brig. Maybe she is unkillable there and it's easy. But I'm going to put her here for now. Kiriko. I actually originally had her on very hard because I know her skill ceiling is very hard, but in the shoes of someone new, maybe not very hard. It's very hard to land your kunais consistently, but throwing those paper talismans, those healing Ofuda is actually not that difficult. You aim in the general direction and they seek for you. So the aiming on the heal is a little bit more forgiving. Protection Suzu is a pretty easy ability. You also just throw it on the ground and you can instantly get value in that capacity. Swift Step and Kunai are the hardest part of her kits for new players. So that's why she's still a hard hero, but not very hard, because not everything is hard. Lucio, touched on it a bit earlier, but he's an easy hero to get baseline value. Again, skill ceiling, unreal. At the highest level, he's a completely different hero with his wall ride and movement. But new players, stand there with an aura and amp it once in a while. Easy value, baby. That's why he's here. Mercy, even easier value. I don't think her beams are toggle on by default, but if you turn that setting on, like go to options, controls, Mercy, toggle beam, you turn it on, you literally press one button on a teammate and the beam stays attached the whole time. You don't have to like get a finger cramp by holding it down the whole time. Press a single button to heal, single button to damage boost, and stand there and you're getting instant, very easy value. Same with Moira, one of the very easy hero to get baseline value. Same thing, a little bit more finger cramping. You just hold down the P, free escape, damage orb, just throw it in the general direction, and the biotic grasp to recharge your juice has the biggest hitbox in the world, not very hard to aim, very easy to get value out of Moira. And finally, we have Zenyatta, who obviously dies a lot if you're positioned poorly, but for beginners in a beginner lobby, target focus and assassination, you don't have to worry about it too much. And by simply pressing two buttons, Discord and healing orb on someone, you're already generating easy value for your team. Hardest part, I guess, is aiming those orbs, but you kind of just hold the button down and just keep doing this. If you throw orb, like put your Discord, healing orb of someone, and just stand there and just do this the whole time. And then Transcendence, press it once in a while. Easy value. What do you guys think? Hopefully I looked at this at the lens correctly of a new player. Maybe I'm off the mark a little bit, and if you think I am, please let me know. I think an easier video for me with my game knowledge is to actually do a skill ceiling video. But for now, hopefully this is relatively accurate. You can share it to your friends when they ask, what do I play? Just tell them to play any of the red and orange heroes. They're very easy and easy heroes. And if they want a challenge, play medium. But generally speaking, avoid the hard and very hard heroes unless they start getting comfortable with how, like, you know, the game modes go, learning other mechanics, how hero interactions work, and all that fun stuff. But that's it for me. My name is KarQ. See you guys next time on my stream at twitch.tv/KarQ or here on this channel. Subscribe. Bye.